You want to mess with the algorithm? Start making use of that thumbs down button. We've been very polite on the internet as far as everybody thumbs up everything or doesn't. Thumbs down stuff, be respectful, man. But no one's being respectful on the internet no more. You know what I'm saying? People are habitual line crossers, you know? Um, there's a difference between comedy and just being edgy and threatening. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between trying to convey a message and just harassing people. You know what I'm saying? Um, and the reality of the situation is we just need to come together. I'm telling you, man, like, this is something that's been bothering me for a long time. Why do we hate each other so much? Why? I can't fathom it no more, man. You know? You see each other hating each other on the streets, and then they lock us up in cages like animals, and then we continue to fucking hate each other and beat each other up inside jail over what? Fucking ramens and snack cakes? And then we get out and do the same repetitive cycle, right? I had to have a coming to consciousness. I had to have something change in my life. And this is why I do this stuff with recovery, man. But it goes deeper than just recovery. We've lost compassion for our brothers and sisters, man. We've lost compassion for just people in general. We base on appearances. I'm missing teeth, so I must be drug addicted, right? Even though I haven't used drugs in years. You ever think maybe some of these got knocked out fighting people and shit, trying to protect my ass inside the cage? I got all these tattoos, so I must be a bad person, right? Go to your local hospital. You'll be surprised how many of the doctors and nurses got tattoos too, even when the rules say something against it. I just miss the compassion people used to have for people, man. You know, it felt like we was getting better, and then all of a sudden it got worse, and then we had a little bit of hope, and now we're in this shitstorm we're in now, man. And I welcome y'all, man. How long until y'all get fed up and realize they don't care about you neither? They're just targeting us now. You know? I've been outspoken about this. I say I'm behind enemy lines because I live in basically I'm in a red town in a blue state. And I've never been fake or unoriginal about what I believe in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never been fake or unoriginal about what my politics were. I'm not anti-governmental at all. I'm not one of these people that think there shouldn't be prisons or police. Because I've been to jail. I've seen some of the worst of the worst. You know, people that will never see the light of day. That's a very eye-opening experience when you talk to a man that's got 3 life sentences. And you sit in there, you're like, damn, I'm probably only going to do a year. It made me humble myself real quick. It made me be like, fuck, man, my time ain't nothing. I can't even complain about this shit. And humbling yourself, man. Accountability, man. Now, I will say this. All my past history, man, until I moved to Maryland. All my past history in the courts, I'd walk into court with a chip on my shoulder, be like, guilty as fuck, give me my time. I ain't had no problem. I'd be like, yeah, I did that shit. Mo did that shit. Let me get my time. But when I moved here and saw how this stuff was acting up and how these people were doing things, when my house started getting broken into, you know, I'm noticing shit missing from my house on a regular basis. Just weird shit. People moving stuff or whatever. I'll be here recently since I've been out of work. You know, I've noticed my back door opens by itself from time to time. And I lock it every time, dude. I'm programmed. My pops used to yell at me every day, lock the fucking door. Even when we lived in a semi-decent neighborhood, he was still like, lock the fucking door. So, it's ingrained in my head. But I'm just... Why can't we come together? Like, why is being peaceful a sign of weakness, it seems? You know? Y'all took Fight Club way too fucking seriously, man. That movie was to show you the negative effects of alpha male bro culture, dude. You know? And I work out. I like to throw hands. You know? If it comes down to it. But there's also a time and a place for certain things. You know? But there's a big difference from disagreeing with someone politically and then just hijacking people's stuff on like holidays and literally trying to down them to make them feel like shit. You know? And if I've done that to anybody in the past, I'm going to say right now, man, I'm sorry. You know? Being an alcoholic like I was, being a drug addict like I was, knows the past tense. We wish not to close the door on the past, right? It's one of our main principles in AA, you know. But I live for today, man. All that already happened. Look at me radio editing myself. All that already happened, right? The best I could do is try to make some amends for the fucked up shit I did in the past, you know. And I've tried, man. I've had mixed results. I've had people be like, don't worry about it, to people being like, why the fuck are you hitting me up? You know? But the point of the matter is I don't go intentionally out of my way to fuck with anybody. Not nobody. Bullies don't get respect, man. Bullies only feel grouped, they only feel powerful when they have a crowd to watch them behind them. You know what I'm saying? Now, correcting someone articulately, yeah, that's a whole different thing. But just because you might have ran my records and all my info, dude, I was fucking running around doing street shit when I was in high school, so I didn't give a fuck about being in the books. But we also didn't have cell phones, so we had no choice but to pay attention in class. And via osmosis, fortunately, we learned a bunch of shit, even if we wasn't even trying. To where when I got something, it was so hard to even look small pieces of information up back in the day. You young cats don't even know about the card catalog. You don't know about the Dewey Decimal System. Fuck out of here. Right? So, with that being said, you know, when I had access, when I finally got on the internet, dude, I got on the internet super late, dude. We just didn't have it, you know? Motherfuckers, where I was going in Dayton, we didn't have money for no internet, bro. Shit, half of us didn't even have TVs at the time. You know? And I'll tell you like this, man. I've seen what having a lot of money did to my personality. I've seen it. I remember getting it. I remember having hotel rooms on the weekends, bottles, all that shit. All the clothes, the you know, all these things that, you know, where they all at today. Moving around, doing this, doing that, man. It's material, right? Can't get back time, that's one thing. You also can't get back, you know, any of those old days, any of those false memories. You know, when you have this spiritual awakening that they talk about in AA, you start to see the world differently. You start to see what kind of cruddy person you was. And you're like, you know what, man? I don't want to do that type of shit no more. And I have to do everything opposite of what I was doing when I was using. Everything opposite. The people, places, things, all that stuff. You know, I walked away from a lot of people that I knew for a long time, man. And it's nothing against y'all. It ain't have shit to do with you. It had to do with me. Because at the rate I was going, I was probably going to end up dead. Actually, as a matter of fact, I overdosed and almost died. I was in the back of an ambulance on my way, whatever, Howard. We were on our way to the other side of Maryland, and I just took too much. I took too much that day. I thought my heart was going to explode. And I remember sitting in the back of this ambulance, looking at this paramedic dude and asking him not to let me die. Said I wasn't ready or none of that. I said, I'm not done with the stuff I'm trying to do yet. Please, man, don't let me die. I didn't. And that was the first pivotal change in my life. I came home and got rid of all my drugs. I flushed them down the toilet and said, fuck it, dude. No more. So, and that's a pretty hard thing to do, man. It really is. But I had a fucking moment too that I was like, damn, Jay, I miss you and shit, but I'm not ready to come kick it with you yet. You know, I kicked myself in the ass for years. You know, I was in Virginia when he died, miles away from Ohio. But I still blame me for that shit. Why? Because I couldn't do enough for him. Because I was too consumed with my own life. And I lived differently than that. You know, I kept a promise, man. I don't know if he knew. It was about a year before he died, man. But he made me promise something that fucking hate it, man. I hate he made me promise me, but I kept my word. And he was like, if something ever happens to me, make sure my sister all right, make sure my mom's all right. Sure enough, and Rachel, and his girlfriend at the time. And sure enough, man, I sat there and played that role in that job, man, for a long time. But they've all grown. They got in the program. They got clean. They got their shit together, actually way before I did. Because I still wanted to hold on to something, you know, hold on to that shit that kept me what I felt complete, right? I've never been more complete. I said one day to my brother, I said one day to my sponsor, I said, this is the first time in my life I've actually felt freedom. I don't have something waking me up in the morning telling me, go do this, do that, like Richard Pryor used to say. I don't have that anymore. I wake up, get a cup of tea, sometimes a cup of coffee, depending on the day. I hit the ground running. And it may not look like I'm doing much, man, but I'm trying to keep my house together. I'm trying to fix shit around this house. I'm trying to, you know, look for work on top of raise my garden to do a side hustle with that. You know, God took one of my gifts away, dude. I used to be able to tattoo. Can't do it no more, man. You get old. I got rheumatoid arthritis in my hands. My hands are all fucked up from boxing people and shit. It's broken knuckles and all that other ill shit that we get into when we become a product of our environment, you know. But I can't blame my environment for everything. You know, that's where accountability comes in a lot. And it's just been wild, man. You know, the epiphanies that you will have as you start to get these things together. As you're starting to piece stuff together, reclaim your life how it used to be. You know, I'm getting into shit that I ain't been into for 20 fucking years because it reminds me of a time. Like, that's why we got the Galaga machine. Because that's where I used to kick it at when I was a kid, was the arcade, man. And if it wasn't the arcade, it was the laser tag place, which was an arcade too. Basically anywhere with video games. So, yeah, man. It brings back that nostalgia. To times when we didn't have these cell phones. Times we didn't have the social media drama. Times where you would sit in a room full of people, man, and everybody would talk and laugh and joke. Everybody in a room full of people now, man, just sit there and stare at their phones all day. It'd be like quiet. People won't even be talking. People will be texting each other from across the room, probably talking shit about people in the room. What does that say about us as a whole nation? Like, are we that narcissistic that we don't show no empathy for people? That's what we're lacking as a whole society. Empathy. We celebrate ignorance. I don't get it, man. Like, they made a movie called Idiocracy about this shit, and I love that movie, man. But it's fun to watch on television. It's not fun to live in real life. It's really not, man. It's just really not. I don't know. I hope whoever listening, man, if you're struggling with this alcohol or stuff, or you got people trying to down you and, you know, just shit on your day to make themselves feel better, man, know you ain't alone. And know that there are people out there, you know? Best thing to do I did was start to speak up. It brought the haters out first, man, but now I'm starting to see the secret allies, and that's a blessing in its own right, man. I don't need nothing from this. I don't need likes. I don't need money. That's not why I'm doing this, man. This is how I don't drink. This is how, if I don't talk about these things and the past and the stuff that I've been through, I'll go walk down that fucking hill and get a bottle. If I don't go to a meeting and talk about this shit or hit an online meeting, and I like to go to online meetings in different states and shit just to get a view of what kind of sobriety's out there, different people, you know? I don't know, man. Is it too much to ask if we can all come together? You know, they said, united we stand, divided we fall, man. It looks like our whole society's starting to crack at the seams. You know? Tired of watching, you know, kids get arrested by ICE. I'm tired of, you know, random people just pulling up to people acting like thugs because of whatever, you know. And I ain't gonna lie, I could be thuggish too. But I'm gonna tell you like this: I'm a peaceful man until you provoke me. I'm a chill dude. I'm a kickback guy. But you start throwing dirt, you start throwing threats, you start goading and antagonizing people. Yeah, you're going to get a reaction from it. But I've been learning how to curb this, man. Anger management. Look, dude, this walk of life, the 12 steps and stuff like that, it ain't just that, dude. You know, I have a problem with alcohol, yes, alcohol and drugs. That's one facet of it. But I've been through some trauma too, and I had to touch on that. I have to go, like, I don't have to, but I go to a counselor, you know. I did get put on some medication. I'm not going to go with medication I'm on, because honestly, HIPAA laws, it's none of your business, right? Point of the matter is, I'm not schizophrenic, dude. I got post-traumatic stress and some pretty deep depression, man, due to the shit I've been through, right? So, you know, first things first, get your mental illnesses right. I had to get to the science. I had to learn my enemy. I'm not a computer dude. I'm not a tech bro. I'm not any of that shit, dude. Actually, several times I was displaced from society. When I came back, dude, like, I remember one time it went from MySpace and Boost Blip to when I came home, it was touchscreens and Facebook. You know, imagine that change. That shit was wow, right? Just think about that. But through all this adversity I've been through all these trials and tribulations, man, you're either going to fold or it's going to build stronger armor around you, right? And, you know, the repetition of the same comments over and over again, you know, please keep if you're going to insult me, keep the material new on a regular basis, please. I get bored with that. So, you know, just calling me stupid when I can literally have a conversation. I have a touch of dyslexia, dude. I switch letters. I will switch letters around. That doesn't mean I'm stupid, dude. I read all the time. I enjoy reading all the time. So, yeah. I self-taught myself. Education. You know, not only just trade stuff, you know, drywall, concrete, those type of things. But, man, I taught myself about different religions, different cultures. Why? Because, you know what? The fact of the matter is, I'll probably never get, well, now being a felon, I'll never get to go to Europe because I can't go there. I can't go to certain countries. It's actually a very, very, very small number of countries I can travel to. So, the best thing I can do is try to sit back and see these cultures from afar. You know? Through their history, through their art, whatever. And I try to respect everybody's culture, man. You know, when talk about Pangea millions of years ago, man. This was all one big landmass at one time, right? And then, you know, tectonic plates, things started moving around. But you ever notice how, like, some Russians look almost just like Alaskans, like the Eskimos? Because there's that, like, 80-mile, you know, space between Russia and whatever. It's literally like, that used to be one country at one point. And Indochina and all that was all on the west coast of the United States. So, I know the continents are drifting apart, but can we come together as a people? Or are we hell-bent on the destruction of the human race and World War III? I talk about it a lot, man. I talk about it a lot because I'm terrified of war, of nuclear war. I'm fucking terrified of it. Have been since I saw it the fucking day after as a kid. That probably wasn't a good one for my pops to let us watch. Like, it freaked out President Reagan. It started the disarmament. He saw that movie and started disarming missiles. What have we been doing the last 10 years? Every country's built, Russia's building more missiles. We're upgrading our missile program to the Sentinel program. Why? Why do we need this destructive power to use against each other? And it's just like guns, man. You know? I used to have to carry one all the time, man. It's a dangerous lifestyle when you're trying to protect someone else's money. But I don't believe we should be disarmed. Should there be some sort of control? I like Chris Rock's old idea. Make a bullet cost, you know what I'm saying, like $1,000. There ain't gonna be no stray shots. There ain't no innocent bystanders because it's too much money to send one bullet, right? But it's not that, man. One of the best moments of my life was at this rave I went to was Yes Fest, man. 2001, Paoli, Indiana. If you was there, you was there. Actually, fuck, if anybody's watching, you was at that party, man. Go there. I was at Yes Fest. The highlight of my day was I went to the parking lot. I changed my pants. I put on my bright orange caffeines. And me and this guy, Jay Newhouse, we walked to the front entrance, not the side entrance we've been going in and out of all day. For some reason, he was like, let's go to the front entrance. I know what it was. He saw who was there. This guy used to record the parties. He had all the VIPs and shit like that. He used to get me into shit for free all the time till I started promoting. But anyways. And we walk up there. And it was, you know, I ain't gonna cap. I was out of it. It was like day 2, man. I've been partying for a solid 24 fucking hours and haven't slept. So, dancing and all that crazy shit. And we go to the front, and I'm sitting there. They searched me. They took my rolling papers because they had to do security. They're like, you can't have this paraphernalia, blah, blah. I didn't even care. I was like, fuck it, take them. The guy next to me asked me, hey, man, can you help me with this? And I looked at him. He was like, help me grab this record case. So I grabbed the record case. We start walking up to the main stage. Damned if it ain't, it was Richard fucking Humpty Vision, the headliner. Him and Bad Boy Bill. Bad Boy Bill played another night, but he was there during the daytime. I carried the records upstairs. Up to the fucking stage, and I stood on stage for about a good 20 minutes, and then I went back to the crowd and got back to the party. Right? Like, it was cool to be on stage for a minute, but I went back to go mingle with the people. It was everybody's free. Roslyn's everybody's free. And there was something magical watching everybody in the crowd sing along with this. And you could see this at other concerts and stuff like that. That unity, that it's a magical thing, man. When everybody gets to that peaceful moment with each other. And they're having such a good time. With or without the drugs, man. You can get the same experience without chemicals. I've found out. Later on in life. And I remember just feeling at peace. That was one of the first times I really felt at peace, man. I wasn't in Ohio. I wasn't going through the crazy shit I was doing out there. I was just at peace, man. At peace, you know. And a little bit starstruck. I mean, fuck, Richard Humpty Vision was the DJ for The Blame Game on MTV at the time. He was on the Shut the Fuck Up and Dance tour. I lost my fucking mind about it, you know. We didn't have no cameras back then. We didn't have nothing. I just have that as a memory, you know. And unless you was at Yes Fest, you wouldn't know. If Jay Newhouse was around, he'd tell you. Or Ashley Clench. These are the people I went to the party with. Or my dude Alec. I don't know what the fuck ever happened to him. You know, people, actually all three of those people I haven't talked to in a long ass time. Yeah. Peace, freedom, love, unity. How did we get so far away from that, man? And I know, y'all see me. I have a, if you fuck with me the right way, I do have a temper. I'll be like, yo, who the fuck is you talking to? It's not, it be like that. And it's not me trying to be ignorant. It's literally me on survival. As my sponsor said, it worked for me for a long time. But is it serving my best interest today? Is it working for the stuff I'm trying to do today? No, it's really not. You know, to obtain inner peace is something completely magical. To sit back and watch the people closest to you realize that, damn, dude, you are not the same person you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, shit, even 3 years ago. I've done a lot of growing in the last 2 years, man. A lot of growing. You know? And that's just how I have to be. I don't idolize the street life anymore. I don't idolize none of the shit I had to go through. I didn't idolize none of the shit or any of the shit my peoples was going through either. I lost a lot of good friends, man. To what? Powder in a bag? To a fucking drug overdose? To a fucking bullet? Car accidents are a rarity for me. You know what I'm saying? Like the way people have died in my life has been tragic. You know? Some for their own actions, some were just trying to escape, man. Maybe escape some of the harshness that they was dealing with, you know? But I face everything now, man. I don't fuck everything and run. I face everything and rise. And I hope you can join me to do the same. You all have a blessed day.